All right, what's up, everybody? So Jen, yesterday you did a Thai chicken curry, okay?
Right?
And that was pretty good video, right? Lots of people are liking it. Got a couple of thumbs up already on it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and you did a great job. You signed off for me. You said please subscribe, and
I'm learning. I see him do videos all the time, so I just thought I would help him out.
very good job. So you're gonna make something else for us today, right?
Right.
So it's my second favorite.
Right, your second favorite.
Yeah.
It's a chicken pot pie. I just make it kind of the easy, lazy way. I have a pie maker, and we take some mushroom sauce and mixed vegetables and chicken. I told you I like chicken. Chicken, and we make a chicken pot pie.
All right. I don't know why I look so massive in these videos with you.
I'm short.
But so are you ready to go to make this?
Yeah, let's get
All
going. I got all the ingredients ready, so stay tuned.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Okay, hey guys, so here we are just getting ready to make this chicken pot pie, as I said. We're gonna actually use chicken again today, big surprise. I told you yesterday it's my favorite thing to do, like eat chicken. So we've got 2 cubed boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I have 2 cups of frozen mixed vegetables. And I'm gonna be using a can of cream of mushroom soup. You could also use cream of chicken soup. Like I said, this is super easy, so I'm not going to make my own gravy. But if I had more time, I certainly would do that. But this turns out great with using this cream of mushroom soup. And we're going to need 2 pie crusts. And so I like this brand because they don't come in the pie shell. I'll show you later how they come. Some dill. And salt and pepper to taste. Just want to show you guys the pie maker that I use. I got this a few years ago. They had it on Amazon. It's Breville. It's amazing. Like, I just love pies, and I would never make a pie at home. And they make them mini, so you can make savory pies, you can make sweet pies, and I'll just open the machine up here, and you can see, woo! I turn it on, it's all ready to go, so it's all heated up. And this is the pie making machine. It comes with these 2, I don't know, would say like accessories, there we go. And they are for cutting the dough to the appropriate size for the machine, as well as an insert to help push the dough down to form the shape of the bottom. So we'll be using this machine, and I'll show you how I do it a little bit later. All right, so first things first, I've got a large pan. I put about a tablespoon of canola oil in here, just because the chicken breast is really lean. So it just needs to give it a little bit of moisture, and so it doesn't dry out. So here's my 2 whole boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Not whole, cubed actually, sorry. What I'm gonna do, just gonna give these a quick sizzle in the pan. We need to cook these for about 10 minutes before we start adding the other ingredients, because you want to make sure that when you're cooking with any kind of meat or poultry or fish, that you cook that first to make sure it is thoroughly cooked so you don't get sick. So now my chicken's browning. It's not quite browning yet, but I would say it's 3/4 cooked. You want to cook it in the pan until you don't see any more pink. So some pieces are starting to turn brown depending on how long they've been down in the frying pan. And this is okay because it's going to continue to cook with the vegetables and with the sauce. So this is a good time now to add our frozen mixed vegetables to the pan. Going to stir these in, break it up a little bit. And we're going to let this cook for a couple minutes to have the vegetables heat up and for the pan to start to get hot again and really start cooking everything. Because right now the pan has cooled down because of the frozen vegetables being added to it. So just mix it in here, break them up, and let this cook just for a minute or 2 together. So now I'm just going to add some cracked sea salt here. And this has been cooking together for about 2 minutes in the frying pan. So the vegetables are nice and warm now. A lot of the moisture that's coming from the vegetables being frozen has been evaporated. I just want to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of salt. And I want to brown this a little bit just to give it some flavor depth. And so I'm going to let this cook together another couple minutes. All right, guys, so it's been a couple minutes. As you can see, even the vegetables and some of the chicken is browning a little bit. We're still only on 5, which is a medium heat. And we're almost ready to go to put it in the pie shells and make our chicken pot pie. Okay, so I'm just gonna add that yummy condensed cream of mushroom soup that you get from the supermarket. Mix this in here. And this is just the easy way to do it. Like when I do have more time, you can make a roux with some butter and flour and cream or milk. And that's really essentially the base point to making a gravy. And then you can just, add some fresh mushrooms and all your spices in there. And that's really how you can make your own gravy. But this is the easy kind of work night comfort food, or you can make it on a Sunday. Today's a Sunday here, and we feel like kind of having a bit of a comfort meal. And what better way than to have comfort food on a Sunday with chicken pot pie? Okay, so this is all mixed up. It's a bit thick, which it should be. However, what I want to do is add 1/3 of a can of cold water. If you want, you can add milk, but I find water is just fine because there is cream in this soup anyways in the first place. So we're just going to add water to thin it out. And I want this to simmer for 5 minutes, but not until I add the rest of the spices. I'm just going to add just a little bit more. So it's not actually even quite 1/3 of a can of water, because this is actually going to reduce and thicken back up again when it's simmering together. Yeah, so not quite 1/3 of a can. I still have a little bit of water left in there. If I choose after it simmers, if I want to thin out the sauce some more, then I can add a little bit more water at that time just to thin it out. Because when this mixture does cool, even inside your pie, it will thicken up again, right? Okay, so next thing is we're just going to add some fresh cracked salt and pepper. We've already had salt, so I'm not going to add too much. We've already put that in with the chicken and veg. But now I've just got some ground pepper here. And I like to add the pepper almost at the end because I don't like the taste of cooking pepper from the beginning to end in a dish. I find that it actually just doesn't create a nice flavor. So we're going to mix that in. And one last seasoning here is, you can put fresh dill as well, but I usually just have dry dill on hand. And I'm going to sprinkle, I really like dill, so I'm going to sprinkle quite a bit in here. So I'm going to kind of cover the top once over. Going to mix it in and cover the top once over again. We like dill, don't we, Dave? So you can already see how the sauce is already thickening up from just being simmered here over medium heat on the stove. Okay, just adding a little bit more dill. Just a little bit of maybe a lighter sprinkle the second time. And then it's all to taste, right? If you don't like dill, you don't even have to put dill in. If you want more pepper, you can put more pepper and salt. If you want to make it spicy, I don't know, maybe add a few chili flakes. I'd make a different flavor, but it's your pie. You can do whatever you like. Okay, so as mentioned, Just going to let this simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. And we'll come back and get ready to fill our pies. I actually forgot to mention, so it's only been less than a minute here and it's already starting to have like a roaming boil on medium heat. So that's okay, but if you're gonna leave it on medium heat, you really gotta keep stirring it, and you probably only need to have it on medium heat simmering for about a minute because it's gonna really reduce your sauce. So what I'm gonna do actually is just turn it down to a 3 or between low and medium heat. And I'm going to get my pie crust ready for my pie maker, and we'll come back when it's ready to stuff. Alright guys, so I'm over here to my pie crust. I really like this Pillsbury pie crust. It comes pre-made. Like I said, with any of these steps that I'm showing you today, you could actually use homemade pie crust, a different brand of pie crust, or make your own. But I like these ones because they don't come in a shell, and they come in the supermarket in the fridge section. They're not frozen, so they're quite cold. I like to take them out probably a half an hour before I'm going to start making the pot pies or any kind of pie, and just so that the dough gets to room temperature or cools down a little bit and it's easier to work with. So what I'm going to do actually is I like to sprinkle a little bit of flour. I've cleaned my countertops, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on here. Just to prevent my dough from sticking. And I'm just going to roll it out, just take it out of the package. It's kind of stuck together, so you just gotta kind of unroll it gently with your finger here. Okay, you can set it down on the counter and then just proceed to roll it out. So this is how they come. I quite like it. And now I'm going to go to my accessories that I have with my pie maker. And we have 2 sizes here. So one size is for the top of the pie and one is for the bottom. And so the larger is for the bottom and the smaller circle is for the top. So what I like to do is cut 2 large and 2 small per pie crust. And I like to go as close to the edge as possible to use that shape. Just going to stick it in there, give it a quick little wiggle. There you go. That's one bottom. Stick it there, give it a little wiggle, another bottom, and now I'm going to make 2 tops. And I'll just continue the same steps and process with the next pie crust, and I'll be ready all prepped to make 4 pies. Alright, so I'm just finishing up here. This is my second pie crust. As you can see, I've got 4 bottoms and 4 tops. And what I do is I actually will roll this out. Now you have to be careful with pie crust. And I don't like to waste this. I want to make additional pies. So usually I'll get an extra pie and a half out of it. I'll be able to roll this out to make 1 full pie and 1 pie bottom, and then sometimes I might have a few pieces that I can actually make a top with, so I might get 2 full pies out of it. You have to be careful not to overwork it though, because it won't be flaky and cook in the machine nice and puffy and flaky and golden. So I'm just gonna roll this out and then come back at you when we're ready to stuff the pies. Alright, so just rolling out this extra pieces of dough. I'm trying to keep the same thickness as that. It always doesn't work out that way. As you can see, once the dough is all together again, from the scraps of dough, it actually isn't very much to make at all, which was, I was saying, probably only enough for 1.5 more pies. And I just have that flour still on the counter to prevent sticking. And I don't want to make it too thin either, and I don't want to work the dough too much. So this will be my only rollout. So I'm really just trying to visualize how to get 3 more circles out of this dough. Get one there for the bottom, another one for the bottom, and then one for the top over here. So these are a little bit thinner actually than the thickness of the regular pie crust when it comes straight from the package. But that's okay. This one's a bit thicker too. I'm a bit uneven when I roll. And I'll just have to roll this out just a little bit more. There's not enough surface area to get a full circle. Okay, so I've decided to actually roll it out again, but just know that the more you work with the dough, as I mentioned, it won't be as puffy and golden in the pie maker, and I'll show you how that turns out. But it still tastes just fine. So, whoops, wrong tool. I've got another top here to use over here. All right, this has actually been simmering for about 5 minutes, and you can see how it's reduced and it's cooked quite a bit. So this is where that rest of the water in your can comes in very handy. Because as I mentioned, when it's hot, it's very liquidy, and if it's very thick when it's hot, it'll just dry right up when it's cold. So just the rest of the water in your can there, and it brings it back to life here. It's nice and thick, and all the flavors have gotten together. The mushroom soup is heating up and cooked. It looks just wonderful, ready to be scooped for our pies. Okay, so my filling is ready on the stove, and it's time to, this actually has to be done really, really quickly because my pie machine is really hot and the dough will start cooking immediately. So we take the bottom and we put it in the bottom of the pie maker. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna put it in there using this tool, the other tool that I showed you that comes with the pie machine. We're just going to make little bowls, if you will, for our filling to go in. And try to make it even as possible, I suppose. I'm not extremely picky. Okay, now it's time to get our filling. So our filling here is really hot still. Really, essentially, you could use a filling and have, make it the night before and have it ready. But everything's being cooked today. So what you want to do is fill those little bowls that you created in the pie machine. Don't overfill though, because the pie will leak out. So just to the top. So a little bit more in that one. And you can make all kinds of pie. You can make, sometimes I make butter chicken, and I make butter chicken pies. David loves that as well. You can make, I guess, even Thai green curry pies. Put that in a pie shell and fill it up. So these don't look overstuffed. You'll see what I mean in a moment. I'm just going to put some more vegetables in there. And on goes the tops. So they just go over nicely. And I just press it a little bit for it to connect, but not to worry, because when you close the lid, it'll actually make that, make the top and bottom come together and cook together. Okay, so I think it usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to close the lid. All right, it's been about 3 minutes. Now, I haven't used my pie maker in quite some time, so it looks like the lights don't go off. The green light comes on when the pie maker is actually all ready to go and heated up. And then this red light just shows you that the pie machine is on. So I peeked about 30 seconds ago, and just to see how they were doing, and they are ready. So I'm just going to get a silicone spatula here and take them out. They're very, very hot. So I usually just take them out and put them straight on a plate. So just be very careful. But see how it's nice and flaky? You can even see with the crust here flaking off from each other. So there you have it. 4 chicken pot pies. So these are my last 2 pies. I just prepped them the same way I normally did. And it turns out, as you can see, although I don't have a perfect circle, it actually covers the whole top of the pie, so I don't need to use any of the scraps. So I'm just gonna close the lid, check on them in about 3 minutes, see how they're doing, and then we should be ready to eat and enjoy. All right, here we are. These are the last 2, and they actually turned out really well today. So they don't always turn up. So this one is a little bummed. Like as you can see, it's not as puffy and rounded, but I'm sure it's gonna taste great. I'm just gonna add this to my other pies over here that we're cooking. There we go. Well, there you have it, guys. This is how I make chicken pot pie. It works out great for the weekdays. Sometimes if I don't have any fresh chicken breasts on hand, quite often, as I mentioned, I eat chicken. It's my thing. We have rotisserie chicken, and I would just dice up the dark meat from the night before and add that to the pan, to the same mixture with mixed vegetables and mushroom soup and all the dill and salt and pepper, and put that as a filling for the pie. So let me know what you think. Let Dave know what you think. Let us know what you think. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Click subscribe. And yeah, well, I guess we'll see you in the next video.
Hello, everybody. So,
Hi.
Jen, you did a really amazing curry. No, let's do it again. Okay. So, Jen, you did a really good, amazing. What is it called? Huh? How's it go?
Okay, take 3.
How's it go?
Thai green chicken curry.
Can't do it with you.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. So, can't laugh.
Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.